All right, guys. Today we're gonna have an interview with Beth. She followed the 3 month diabetes mastery program with me, and amazing things happened. She lost more than 30 pounds. She got a promotion in her job, and her relationships are more authentic than ever. She stopped the codependency. But without further ado, I want to introduce her. So we got today bets on this video chat that rhymes. now, um, so about 3 months ago, Bet reached out to me, I believe, or we found each other
hmm
through a Facebook group, and we connected with each other. And she started 3 months ago the Diabetes Mastery Program with me, and we're now 3 months further, and a lot of changes happens. So I don't really want to chat too much. I think it's more powerful and more beautiful that Beth talks about her own journey, what all happened, in the diabetes mastery program, but also maybe let's start at the start first. Um,
Okay.
so what I'm curious about, Beth, like, is what made you decide to book in with me our first, let's say, introductory call, our first chat? What happened?
So I was at a point in my life where I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was 70 pounds heavier than I was when I was full term pregnant. And I wasn't happy with my life. I didn't like the way I looked. My liver labs were getting out of control. They were getting ready to send me to specialists because my liver was just not good. I'm a type 1 diabetic. My A1Cs were under control, but everything else was not. I'm a single mom, and I just wanted to be there for my son. And I knew I had to do something. Reaching out to my doctors, my endocrinologist basically told me, "You've taken control of your blood sugars. I know you can lose weight." And so I went to a dietitian, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're a diabetic. You can, pretty much eat whatever you want. Just, take your insulin for it." And I was getting no help from my doctors. So just seeing your post, I thought, you know what? What's it going to hurt to talk?
Love that. Yeah, right. And that's the thing too. Like, what does it hurt to talk? Because only that can be the start to let our heart out and talk about certain things. And I think also what is interesting is what you're saying. Uh, I mean, for how long have you been trying to change? Is where I'm curious about.
7 years. And my primary physician, when I talked to him about my weight, he said, "Well, you qualify for weight loss surgery." And I did not want to do a radical surgery because I know people that have, and down the road, they are just right back where they started. And
Exactly.
I don't want that. I don't want to lose weight. I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it coming back.
Yeah, yeah. Because how did you feel? I mean, how was your feeling in general when let's say the Beth you were before the diabetes mastery program? How was your feeling? How was life for you in general?
I was not sociable. I was not confident. I was tired all the time. I didn't sleep at night. I I couldn't fall asleep, and I wasn't staying asleep, and I was just exhausted all the time. I don't know. I felt sluggish.
Yeah, yeah. So your whole lifestyle, your whole living was just kind of sluggish. Yeah. And I mean, did you try also anything in the past to fix these kind of issues?
Oh my gosh, yes. I would go to the gym and I'd end up gaining weight instead of losing weight because I was having to eat so many more carbs to counterbalance the lows I was getting. So I was ending up gaining weight at the gym. I've tried all those silly diet fads and, weight loss pills, and I just, nothing was working for me, and I wasn't getting any help from my doctors, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, and I think also, I mean, there's quite a few people also where I am talking with who unfortunately face a similar issue because nothing to blame on the doctors, but there's just not enough education also out there for them, right? So unfortunately, that's all
hmm
the reason why. Um, Now I'm curious, like, so we had the chat, right? Like we found each
Great.
other somehow. Maybe the universe decided to just put us in front of each other, and we jumped on this call. And obviously, I see now the Beth, and I saw the Beth at that time. And the funny thing is, like, even your room was also a bit darker. There was a light coming through, right? Like literally, like yeah, just your whole energy, your whole vibe changed. But what I'm curious about, because I think there's a lot of people who maybe have interest, to reach out or to start certain programs with a coach or with me or the diabetes mastery program. Um, what were your thoughts before you really started the diabetes mastery program?
Well, obviously I did my research because I have trust issues, so I don't just trust anybody. And I've always been told, don't send your money to somebody overseas. And for the people that are watching, I'm in the United States and you're in Portugal. So it was very much like, who is this guy? So I did my research and I watched your YouTubes. I went on your Instagram, your Facebook, and I just felt that you being a type 1 diabetic, you knew what you were doing. Everybody else I've tried to talk to help me, they're not diabetic. They just don't get it. So I had a hard time, but I trusted you. And the person that I was before, we've talked about my people pleasing. I am just very much, I want to help everybody. I was the type of person that you could come to me and be like, hey, I need help with this. And I'd be like, I really don't have the time, but okay, and now I find myself saying, I don't have the time. I'm sorry. And just like the weird little things, like I never used to open my curtains. Like my curtains were always closed. I'd never go out, but I keep my curtains open all the time now. I turn on the lights in the house.
Yeah, I love that.
And I go out now. I never used to leave my house, but I go out now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm curious also to hear more about that, because I mean, there's so much change in your life, like the last 3 months. Like I've, honestly, I work with quite a few diabetics, and I did a lot of coaching the last couple of years. But I think there is almost nobody who changes that much how you did, Beth. I need to say that in all honesty. Yeah, like I mean, how would you describe the entire experience? Let's say like with me, but also with the diabetes mastery program. How was the experience, and what did really change in your life?
It was definitely a journey. There was, I mean, I was motivated and I knew there was going to be work to it, but there was a lot more work to it than I thought there would be. But I have done a complete 180, and I was very, very motivated and serious about what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. And I knew that this was the right fit for me. But yeah, I'm a completely different person now. I mean, I gave it my all. I shouldn't say that because I know I should be working out more than I do, but
you lost, how much did you lose, Beth? Like, right? You didn't even say that.
35 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost 35 pounds.
35 pounds in 3 months. That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the other things next to it. And then that's, I think, the interesting thing what you're saying, right? Like, obviously, maybe you feel like, yes, you need to do more workouts, and there's a few changes you maybe wanted to change still. But what you say, and what I'm seeing also, is that you made a complete lifestyle, an identity shift.
It did.
Right? And that's what I think is the most important, and what I'm trying really to do also with the guys, because what you said at the beginning of the interview, there is so many beautiful diets, there's so many beautiful workout programs, right? And the quick fixes. But if you can't shift your identity, if you can't shift your lifestyle, you will maybe even double gain it afterwards. right? And what I'm seeing with you, Beth, is that you literally, like, you can see it even in your eyes, right? How you're shining
Yeah.
around. You shifted that identity into, I think, like a person you dreamed of or a person you wanted to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So that's powerful stuff. Yeah. And so is there anything in particular what you would say about the diabetes mastery program or just the coaching in general, what you enjoyed as experience?
I learned a lot about myself, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And I'm almost 40. So I thought I knew everything about myself, but I clearly didn't. I learned so much that I didn't know I needed to learn. And if it wasn't for you and your program, I still wouldn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. That's beautiful words. Yeah, that touches my heart. Wow. Yeah, and that's also the thing. Like oh wow, and I love how you right, like we're all students our whole life. Me too, right? Like I learned also a lot
Right.
new, and every time I go on a journey with somebody else, I learn new things again. But just and I think the power also what you showed over here, but is that the first step is throwing your hands up in the air and being honest and
Mm-hmm.
say, I need help, right? And I might
Yep.
need somebody with a bird's eye perspective or somebody who can see from the sideline what I'm doing, like swimming. Maybe I do something weird in the water and I think I do it perfect. I did it also with surfing when I started. I thought it was perfect on my board until I saw somebody making a picture of me and I was lying almost like like completely wrong, right? But that's the power of it, and I think that's so beautiful that you started this journey like this. You were honest by yeah, being honest. Weakness is maybe a harsh word, but like where you telling me where you need help with, and then that's super, super powerful. Um, so what about life now? Like, yeah, what are you gonna do with life now? Like after all of this, like what are you most looking forward to?
Um, I think I'm most looking forward to, I guess, getting my life back. I used to be a sociable person, and and when I say used to, I mean many, many years ago. But I've started going out again, so I really am getting my life back. I'm more confident and comfortable with who I am and how I look, and I'm just really excited to see where my life goes from here.
Yeah, yeah. And I think also that's so beautiful. What I also know with you, your relationships, right? Because you talked about the codependency. Unfortunately,
Yes.
there's a lot of diabetics out there who face this issue, the codependency, the people pleasing. What is a big issue, right? Because as diabetics, we have a special label. Like it is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. We can't just eat the same as our neighbor because he doesn't or she doesn't have diabetes. We need to take that we need to own that and there's sometimes shame involved and all these other things where we need to deal with and then there's this people pleasing where if we keep on doing this it becomes very hard to control a lot of things like in particular our health and what I've been seeing with you is like you started to change this people pleasing behavior and what happened with your relationships in general. Could you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. Um, so the relationships I have with my family are I'm very, very close to my family. My sister's my best friend. My mom's a close second. I still go to dinner with my parents every Friday night. Is an almost 40-year-old. That's really unheard of. But I have really done some things in the last few weeks where I've put me first. And there was a good week where my sister wouldn't talk to me because I just kind of put my foot down and I just said, you know what? You've really hurt my feelings and I'm not going to let you just railroad me like this. And she didn't talk to me for a week, but then she just picked things back up like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So it really made me realize that, I knew she'd get over it, but it really made me realize that I can put myself first and it's still not going to like push away the people that should be in my life.
Exactly. I think that's the power of it, right? Because what they always say, it's better to have a tribe of authentic, or how do you say it? It's better to have a tribe of um, quality over quantity. That's
Quality. Yeah.
yeah, right. So because we all know these people where they're friends with everybody, but then where is the true quality relationships? And I think with what you did over there, putting certain boundaries down because these are your needs, the real people will be pulled towards you and really understand you. That's where the people you want to be with. So love that. Love that. Awesome. So what would you say to the people who are maybe now in a similar phase where you were at, right? Like they don't really know, like maybe their A1C. I mean, your A1C was good, but let's say their A1C is whack, they're overweight, just their diabetes in general is, like controlling them. They're not really in control, and all the other things are suffering: their relationship, their health, their wealth, right? We know all these three are connected with each other. What would you say to them?
I would tell them to give you a chance. If I would not have done it, I wouldn't be where I am today. I mean, not that this is going to happen for everybody, but we did talk about things fall into place. I started losing weight. I started feeling better about myself. I got my relationships under control. I started meeting new people. I got a promotion. That's all in 3 months. And it really does show that everything falls in line together when you start working on one. And if they're on that fence of what to do, just talk to you. I mean, you have this amazing program that has just turned my life around. And I cannot give you enough praise.
Thank you very much. That's such super kind words. And Beth, likewise. I mean, to have you on board once again, like I learned a lot from you also, but also just your energy in general. I love your optimistic vibes, your changes, the person who you are, who you become today. I only know for a fact that this has a ripple effect, right? And that's also why I'm doing this. This is my main motivation of being at service, because it is like the drop what goes in the water. It only spreads out further and further and further, right? If we have this authentic loving heart, and I'm sure you're having this right now, so I want to salute you and thank you for jumping with me into this journey. And
absolutely, thank you for being there.
Yeah, you're welcome. And obviously, we're gonna stay in touch after this program. We became friends, at least from my side.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, so and I'm 100% sure there will become way more beautiful things will happen in your life in the future. Thank you, Beth.
Yes, thank you.